Right now, Madison police are looking for a woman who they say caused a city bus to crash into a restaurant. What the business owners are saying about the incident.
I'm Jalen Banks, and in light of the recent measles death in Texas, I'm taking a look at measles vaccination rates in our state. That and more coming up.
I thought this is horrific. This is 30 minutes away from my house. How is this happening?
And later, Ridgeland Farms facing a legal battle. We'll break down the accusations against the company and what we uncovered after a months-long investigation. And we welcome you to News 3 Now at 6. A restaurant and business on the east side are temporarily closed after a Metro bus collided with the building last night. Police are currently investigating the crash. They say a woman pushed and shoved a Metro bus driver, causing him to lose control of the bus.
When I heard the news, I feel like shocked, like, what is that going on?
Bonnie Hong is in disbelief as one of the owners of Asian House.
I feel like really, really sad. I don't know like how that happened. Like this is like affect all our family because this is a family restaurant.
Bonnie and her husband started the business in 2012. She says they love feeding families in their community.
And most of our customers are like returning customers, and they've been here like since they are a little kid, and now they are growing up like taller than me.
But now the restaurant, a labor of love, needs labor to recover.
This wall should be attached to the wall, but it's all popped out.
Stainless steel kitchen appliances dented and ripped off the wall, and yet the bus still dodged a major line. We know that the bus collided with the back of the building, but I just want to show you right over here, couple steps away. This is the gas and electric for the entire building. Now, I'm in QPS Employment Group right now. They say that if the bus hit this wall, it would have taken out the entire building.
I thought, okay, it hit Asian House, which is next door to us. But then when we came in today, we realized that our space goes behind their space.
Dave Elliott works for QPS Employment, a hiring agency based out of Brookfield. He says that their back offices are destroyed.
That was an emergency exit door, glass, obviously the brick of the back of the building.
Though the walls caved in, he says that inspectors tell him the structure is stable.
I don't want to say superficial because it's major, but it can be repaired and we can still function and do what we do for the community.
Both Dave and Bonnie made clear they are pushing forward. And for Bonnie, it's about her family.
We try to do it as quickly as possible, so we're going back to work, and that way it doesn't affect our family.
The people from QPS Employment and Asian House tell me that they're so grateful that no one was in the building during the time of the collision. Reporting on Madison's east side, Meryl Hubbard, News 3 Now.
And both businesses will be temporarily closed until they can repair those damages. They're working with insurance and construction companies to assess the costs and the recovery. Well, a barn in Dodge County is considered a total loss after a fire last night. It happened in the town of Trenton on Jersey Road. No word yet on what caused the fire. Fortunately, no one was injured. A local treasurer in Monroe County is in jail for allegedly stealing hundreds of thousands of dollars in township funds. 50-year-old Kelly Schlussener was working as the town of Adrian's treasurer when she was arrested. Adrian, just west of Toma. The Monroe County Sheriff's Office says an investigation shows she had been stealing from township accounts since April of 2022. They say she had stolen more than $294,000. She's in the Monroe County Jail tonight, facing charges of misconduct in office and theft. She'll have her bond hearing tomorrow afternoon. Temperatures staying on the warm side for this time of the year. We check our first warn forecast and meteorologist Blaze Keller on the patio.
Yeah, you know, it's beginning to lightly rain here outside of the studio. We got some light rain kind of scattered across southern Wisconsin right now. Where you see the green, that is where raindrops are falling. Light across parts of Dane County as well as Jefferson County, stretching from just to the east of 151, Watertown back into Belleville, maybe even into Perry as well. We take it into Rock County, Janesville, Beloit. We're going to be dealing with some of these rain showers in just a few minutes. Back into Evansville. You're kind of getting the picture here into Lafayette County, Monroe. Some hit or miss showers. Our heaviest shower just moving out of Platteville right now. Darlington, it is really just on our doorstep. And you can always track out these showers down to the street view as well by downloading our interactive weather app. We're going to continue to watch these rain showers trickle across southern Wisconsin as we go throughout the overnight hours. As cooler air moves in overnight, some of those raindrops could turn over to a rain-snow mix. Definitely further north, you're going to have that better chance for some of those snowflakes. Accumulations will be minimal to none as we go into your morning commute because our temperatures have been so warm lately, not to mention we're going to climb back into those 40s for your Thursday. Right around freezing tonight underneath mostly cloudy conditions. A couple slick spots here and there, but I don't think ice or at least any slick ice spots are going to be a real problem as we go into the overnight hours because our ground has been so warm. We're going to talk about Friday's system and how windy but mild it will be in the full forecast.
All right, Blaze, thank you. Wisconsin lawmakers are debating a plan to expand Medicaid locally. That comes after the governor floated a plan during his state budget address last week. Right now, Wisconsin has expanded the service to include 100% of the federal poverty level. That means anyone making around $31,000 or less a year would be covered. The governor wants to increase that Medicaid coverage to anyone making 138% of the federal poverty level. That would be about $43,000 annually. Meanwhile, Republicans question the benefits of expanding Medicaid in Wisconsin, and it is likely they'll remove it from the governor's budget draft later this spring. Well, an unvaccinated child with measles is dead in West Texas. It is the first death in an outbreak that started last month. It also marks the first death from measles in the U.S. since 2015. And in light of that death, what does it mean for our state? Jalen Banks joins us with a Time for Kids report on measles vaccination rates right here in Wisconsin.
Over the past several years, we have seen a decline in vaccination rates across the country, even reaching the Badger State.
This is a dangerous disease and something that we can easily prevent.
The Wisconsin Department of Health Services says declining vaccination rates are leaving children and communities vulnerable to outbreaks.
In regards to measles, it's one of the most contagious diseases that you can get. Studies have shown that 9 out of 10 people that are susceptible will get infected. 1 out of 5 people that are infected by measles will develop a pneumonia.
In a recent report, the CDC says only 88.8% of Wisconsin kindergartners were up to date for their measles, mumps, and rubella vaccine, which is well below the national average, which is 92.7%.
Back in 2000 is actually when we eradicated measles from the United States, where it was no longer endemic. And that was because of our meeting the vaccination rates that we needed to achieve immunity. And this resurgence, again, is because we've seen lower rates of vaccines.
The same report showed Wisconsin children are behind on polio, tetanus, and pertussis vaccines. The CDC recommends children should get 2 doses of the MMR vaccine. The first dose between 12 and 15 months and the other between the ages of 4 and 6. For now, reporting in studio, Jalen Banks, News 3 Now.
Jalen, thank you. The Spirit of Service campaign is underway as we honor our local veterans, making a positive impact in our community. News 3 Now is partnering with Vortex. All you have to do is log onto our website, channel3000.com, nominate a veteran in your life doing something good. We'll be sharing their stories, and you'll get to vote and choose which veteran gets to take home a $5,000 cash prize. A winner will be announced in early April. Black trailblazers are telling their stories across Madison. They are known as community historians, and they're making sure Madison Black history is not forgotten. Our Tanisha Shaw talked to the pioneers earlier today.
Pia Kenny James and Betty Banks are living Black history, and they're making sure everyone knows how African Americans contributed to the city of Madison.
Oftentimes, we hear about Black history, which is wonderful, but we never hear about it right in our backyard. And that was the reason why I asked them to come and share their stories with the group here in Fitchburg and Madison.
Kenny James is the first Black woman to be an officer for the Madison Police Department. Banks' grandparents are the first Black couple to buy a house here in Madison.
Many of these stories have never made it into history books. The most prominent historians, Stu Leviton and David Mollenhoff, always regulated Black people to 2 or 3 paragraphs in the books that they've written about the history of Madison. So that was the other reason that we were motivated to tell our stories. We have contributed to this city, and we really want people to understand and know.
I will have a full report tonight at 10 p.m. Reporting in Fitchburg, Tanisha Shaw, News 3 Now.
Tanisha, thank you. Still ahead at 6, Ridgeland Farms under fire. After the break, we take a deep dive into animal cruelty accusations against the Beagle breeder as it deals with an ongoing lawsuit.
You're watching News 3 Now at 6.
Welcome back. For years, beagle breeder Ridgeland Farms has faced public accusations of animal cruelty taking place at their Blue Mounds facility. Our Kyle Pozorski has worked for months to uncover more about the company and examine those accusations, all as a legal battle against them moves forward.
This is Ridgeland Farms, located just outside of Mount Horeb, which has for decades bred and sold dogs to assist in medical research. Along the way, accusations of animal cruelty have been levied towards the company. But it wasn't until a small group broke into the farm in 2017 that those accusations began to ramp up and pushed the public perception of the farm to a tipping point. Wayne Shung is one of 3 activists from the organization called Direct Action Everywhere, or DXE, that went inside, recording this footage and stealing 3 dogs in what's referred to as an open rescue.
The only comparison I have to the experience that I had at Ridgeland Farms was being in dog meat markets in China.
He said what the team found and documented was beyond belief.
We saw so many thousands of animals trapped in cages, spinning, clawing at the cage bars. And from then when I walked in, I could just feel at a deep and visceral level the fear they were feeling.
Following DXE's visit, a lawsuit was brought against the 3 for their actions that day, only being dismissed this past year. While the case is now closed, public pressure campaigns from before and after have continued bringing attention to Ridgeland, encouraged by what DXE uncovered. Shortly after the DXE operation, Rebecca Robinson got together a group of friends forming Dane for Dogs.
I thought, this is horrific. This is 30 minutes away from my house. How is this happening?
They began their efforts with a ballot initiative to ban dog breeding facilities from operating in Mount Horeb, which ultimately failed. Since then, other efforts have focused on activism and filing public record requests to see what state and federal regulators have recorded during routine inspections.
We can look at the DATCAP reports and know that the conditions inside of Ridgeland Farms are not great.
Kim Krieger, a member of Dane for Dogs, spoke with me about what they have found.
The dogs are in really tiny cages in their own filth, and some of them have medical needs that haven't been tended to. That's all documented in the DATCAP reports.
On its website, Dane for Dogs references many of those DATCAP reports. In one dating back to 2016, the state regulators found noncompliance requiring corrective action. And in more recent visits by the regulators, noncompliance continued to be found. A June 2024 inspection found 1 dog with a ruptured interdigital cyst. For its part, Ridgeland Farms has remained mostly private and refrains from speaking directly to the media. I tried for several months to get a representative from Ridgeland to speak about the allegations of abuse. But it wasn't until we publicized the airing of this report that their attorney got back to me saying they have lawfully operated for decades. They say in a statement that the company has been breeding dogs to help research and develop new and better veterinary products that benefit your pet dogs. Ellie Hansen, an advocate against dog research, says a push towards changing the way the testing and research industry does business will ultimately lead to dog breeders like Ridgeland ceasing to operate.
It's just a matter of changing the regulatory system in this country, basically the FDA, to have them update their policies to make these technologies mainstream.
Right now, a lawsuit continues to make its way through the Wisconsin legal system. It was just a few short weeks ago when a La Crosse County district attorney was appointed to investigate the alleged abuses happening at Ridgeland. They tell me they're reviewing everything and beginning to speak to the involved parties. And they continue that right now there is no set timeline on if any charges will be brought against Ridgeland. In Madison, Kyle Pozorski, News 3 Now.
Kyle, thank you. And to find more of Kyle's reporting, you can head to the story linked at channel3000.com. Still ahead, the deadline to remove ice shanties from Wisconsin waters is fast approaching when ice fishermen need to bring them in. Plus, Dane County Regional Airport, a record number of travelers are close to it in 2024. What they say were the top destinations out of Madison last year. Plus, will we get any more rain this week? Blaze with a complete forecast when we come back.
You're watching News 3 Now at 6.
Dane County Regional Airport revealing last year's traffic numbers, and they were nearly record breakers. According to the airport, more than 2,300,000 passengers were served by the airport, second most in the airport's 85-year history. The airport expects a record-breaking spring break travel season in 2025. Last year's top nonstop destinations out of Madison included Denver, Phoenix, Washington, D.C., and Orlando. Well, the time to remove permanent ice shanties for the season is coming soon. The DNR releasing a list of deadlines based on the areas of the state. Now, if your shanty is on a boundary water between Wisconsin and Minnesota, you have to get it out by Saturday. For inland bodies of water in the southern half of the state, you have until Sunday. In boundary waters with Michigan, March 15th is the deadline. Everywhere else, it is March 16th. You can still use portable shanties after the respective deadlines, but you must remove them when you're not using them. Well, we may have seen the end of the rain this week, but the wind could pick up by then. Here's Blaze with a complete forecast. I guess maybe there's some rain out there, right?
That's right. There's a little bit of rain this evening, and we're going to continue to track that chance for rain and maybe a few snowflakes as we go further overnight into at least early parts of Thursday. We get a break much like today into the afternoon. Some wintry mix showers may be possible to end Thursday. That's all ahead of a bigger system on Friday that's going to bring us not only another 50-degree day, but breezy conditions as it moves through the Midwest. Our latest Clipper system will continue to pull off towards the east. Still dealing with that chance for mixed precip through the morning hours on your Thursday. And like I said, similar to today, we get a break into the afternoon. As our next Clipper system moves on in, we may see the return of a light wintry mix overnight into early Friday. But a lot of that moisture with this stronger Clipper is going to stay off to our north and east as we go into your Friday. It is going to be windy, though, because we're going to move in very quickly a warm air mass for Friday. And then by Saturday, we got to push it on out of here to make room for 30s after climbing into the 50s. And to do that, we've got to be breezy, not only with the southerly winds, but especially when those winds turn out of the northwest. So in terms of snow over the next couple of days, especially the potential Friday into early Saturday, very minimal to none. The GFS is maybe picking up on a system as we go into later parts of next week. So let's just focus on not only the breezy conditions, but the snow potential Friday into Saturday, which does not look too impressive. Not to mention temperatures, if we do get into the 50s, well above freezing. So any of that snow later Friday will easily melt as it's falling, or melt as it hits the ground because we have been so warm. Winds are going to be breezy on Friday, as I mentioned, because we have to quickly move in that colder, drier air mass for your Saturday. Gusts out of the northwest could be anywhere between 40 to 50 miles, or 40 to 45 miles per hour, as we go into your Friday afternoon. We cool down as we go into Saturday. But it has been a pretty roller coaster type February. We went from being in the 30s to the 20s to the teens by about Valentine's Day. That's when we got a lot of that snow. And then it was about a week ago today that we were in those single digits for highs. And then we climbed back into those 50s on Monday. Tuesday we were there as well. Not today, but we may have that chance as we go into Friday. We're sitting at about 20.2 degrees for an average temperature from the start of the month through yesterday's date, which is about 2.5 degrees cooler than where it should be for this time of year from the start of the month through yesterday's date. And the warmer air doesn't look to go away anytime soon. Not a strong confidence level, but anywhere between a 30 to 40% chance of sitting underneath warmer than average temperatures as we kick off March. And that looks to continue potentially into the next 8 to 14 days as we look towards the middle of March. This, to me, says that we open up the Gulf of Mexico, so we may have more systems moving in out of the Gulf, bringing in some of that warmer air before pulling down some of that last cold air from winter before we settle into spring. 40s for your Thursday. We are looking at that chance for a wintry mix, especially in the morning hours. There's a look at that 7 and 10 day forecast. A quiet start to March. That, of course, starting on Saturday. 30s Saturday, Sunday, plenty of sunshine. And then that midweek system Tuesday, Wednesday, we're keeping an eye on it. But it could bring us some rain on Tuesday and then a rain-snow mix on Wednesday.
And coming up in sports, skating towards some history. How Casey O'Brien is so close to becoming Wisconsin's all-time scorer. That's next on News 3 Now. Wisconsin bounced back in a big way last night, absolutely dominating Washington from the opening tip, and a big part of that was the play of John Blackwell. The Badger guard set the tone early, scoring 19 of his game-high 24 points in the first half and finished with his first career double-double. He was in control the entire game, thanks to a little reminder from his head coach.
I think the biggest thing with John and even with Kamari that I talked about after Saturday was you need to take command. You know, you're the quarterbacks, you're the point guards. You need to, it doesn't mean you have to go score 30, but you have to command.
I think it's key to stay aggressive even when it's not going, because if you're not scoring, I mean, just staying aggressive provides opportunity for other teammates.
And just a reminder to check out this week's Wisconsin Huddle with Kamari McGee. Show airs on Friday at 6:30 right here on News 3 Now. It's been a record-breaking final season for Casey O'Brien. The Wisconsin forward is already the program's all-time assists leader, but there's one more record to break, and it's within reach. O'Brien skates into this weekend with 258 career points, just 5 away from passing Hillary Knight to become UW's all-time points leader. A feat that's bound to happen, and a ride that's been fun to be a part of for her teammates.
It's pretty cool to be a part of somebody like that's legacy. I mean, her name is going to be up there with the greats of people that we grew up watching and people that we grew up admiring.
Yeah, I mean, her numbers, are amazing from the standpoint that, she's in the same breath with Hillary. Hopefully she's got another good month of hockey into her as she finishes up her career here at Wisconsin.
Won't be surprised if she broke it this weekend against Bemidji.
We'll be keeping an eye on it. Let's go to Blaze. Final check quickly of the forecast.
40s tomorrow, rain snow mix in the morning, more sunshine and drier conditions into the afternoon. It will be breezy, but the real windy conditions arrive on Friday as we end the work week in the low 50s, cooler for the weekend.
All right, Blaze, thanks. And thanks for joining us for News 3 Now at 6. Have a great evening. We'll be back here tonight at 10.